Hello everyone, I am Glenn, and welcome to the Glenliness. So, you may have noticed, if you've been watching these, which you haven't, so you probably haven't noticed, I'm drifting a little bit later with each one of these that I post. I'm trying to get like a good day for release, and I haven't really decided what that's going to be yet. So, I'm going to start this off with a little bit of, I guess, I don't know, bad news, weird news. So, I talked at the end of my last video about my battles with IBS and how I still do some stupid things and I was feeling really bad. Well, that was on like Thursday or Friday, I think. And over the weekend and during the week, things took a turn way for the worst. I was experiencing some of the worst and vaguest pain I have ever had. They ask you about pain scales. Doctors will sometimes ask you that on a scale of 1 to 10 or whatever. I always have trouble answering that. At some point, I was hitting 10. It was really horrible. I was in the emergency room on Sunday, on Tuesday, and on Wednesday. On Wednesday, they admitted me. I stayed Wednesday night and Thursday night and went home on Sunday. The amount of tests that they did to me is just... it's insane. I had 2 CAT scans, I had an ultrasound, I had an MRI. They took so many blood tests that like there's little pinpricks all over my arms, urine tests, everything that they could possibly think of to test to see what was causing me this intense pain. So I think either all 3 ER visits or maybe it was just 2 out of the 3. They ended up giving me morphine, which did help with the pain, but like that's not a long-term solution, obviously. Then when they admitted me, that was the last dose of morphine, and that was on Wednesday night. So I haven't had anything, any pain meds really since then. Anyway, so after all of that hospital stay, they could not find anything wrong with me, which in some ways makes me think I'm crazy, but I know this kind of pain that I was feeling, and I am not somebody that like is like, oh, I'm kind of, you know, I bumped my arm, I should go to the ER. I can count on, well, probably now it'll take me 2 hands, but before this event, I could have counted on 1 hand the amount of times I'd been in the ER. Even with this, I think I'm only like 5, maybe 6 times in my entire life have I been to an emergency room. But this was pain that I could not function. It hit me Monday morning, so after Sunday night. Monday morning I went into work and it hit me pretty soon after that, and then I was in the ER by the afternoon on Monday. Tuesday I managed to make it through the day. Wednesday I went to work and did most of the, no, Tuesday was most of the day? I don't know, I've like so totally lost track of everything because you spend 2 days in a hospital and man, everything goes out the window and you don't know what is going on anymore. So my in-laws were kind enough to fly up here to Pennsylvania all the way from Texas at the drop of a hat to help out with things. Right now, my son and wife and probably my in-laws are napping, and I just needed to get out for a while. So I'm on a road that leads out to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, known as Amish country. This is a drive that I used to go on a lot when I had to memorize lines when I was doing theater more, and it got to be known as the Lancaster Loop because it's 2 separate roads. It's basically just a big loop that leads me out to Lancaster and home. I may continue on that loop. I mean, I've got probably at least an hour before people get up, probably even more than that. And I don't know, I figured I'd take a little drive just to try to clear my head, try to get things back to normal, because man, have they not been normal. So we can get more light in here. Wow, that's filthy up there. Look at that. You can see it going, but you can hardly even see through that. It's so dirty. I don't know what caused that. Sun? Or snow, rather? A little rain? I don't know. My car was sitting in the emergency room parking lot the whole time I was there. I felt bad taking up a spot, but what was I going to do? I'm sitting lying in a hospital bed, not really any way to get the car home. So I've got you up on a tripod here, a little bit different. Maybe I'll try to move around. I'll see if it holds. I don't think this is going to hold too well, but hey, it's worth a shot. Maybe we can get a little bit of a tour out here. Maybe I'll pass something that's interesting to show you. So I've always liked this loop because it's a super easy drive, to the point where when I was trying to memorize lines, close this back up. When I was trying to memorize lines, it was good because I didn't have to like concentrate on the driving, because this is a drive that I can almost do in my sleep. So I find it very relaxing. I just pulled off into like a little strip mall in a town called Morgantown. and this is in fact Morgantown Crossing. That's where I am now. All right, holding on to you as I go around here. There we go. I still have to come up with a better solution for this, because clearly this is not something that's going to work too well. You're barely balanced there. Slightest bump, you're going to fall down. Sorry about that. But yeah, so this whole thing with the hospital, it's craziness, because I know the intensity of the pain that I was feeling. I wouldn't go to the ER unless I was like, you know, I was literally doubled over and moaning in pain. It was, if not the worst, close to the worst pain I have experienced in my entire life. It was just, it was a nightmare. So the pain was kind of lower abdomen, lower back, kind of moving around on the left side. So they tested me, like, all the urine tests. I think they were checking for kidney stone, and that's some of the CT scans they were checking for that. They did it with contrast the first time, without contrast the second time. The MRI was like all done of the abdomen. I saw a GI specialist. Surgery checked me out because I had gotten left inguinal hernia surgery years ago, and they thought maybe that was aggravating things somehow. So they checked that out. They had the surgeons check that out. They couldn't find anything with that. There was nothing. So my conclusion after I made that recording last week, and I had been feeling, you know, what I had thought was IBS. So my guess with all of this stuff put together is there was a gastroenteritis, a stomach flu, which was part of it. And then there was my IBS, which is still existent, which is also part of it. And I think it's also possible that separately I kind of tweaked my back, because I've got, you know, a 2.5-year-old son who's 20, 30 pounds that I'm tossing around like, well, I was going to say tossing around like a sack of potatoes, but I guess that would be how much a sack of potatoes would weigh anyway. But yeah, I'm tossing him around like he weighs a lot less than he actually does. So now I got to follow up with my general doctor. I got to see a new GI doctor. I might try to see, what was the other one? Like, I was thinking about a chiropractor maybe to check out the back. I'm not a great believer in chiropractors, but I know a lot of people who do go and swear by them. But I want to see, you know, see what my regular doctor thinks, see if he thinks I should see him. This is like such a neat little town. That's one of the neat things about this road you go on, that there's just these little towns with all these little like restaurant type things and stuff like that. I can just film out here and show you some of this. Let's put you facing out. No, I can't really do it there. Never mind. You're back to me, but I don't know if you're facing me because I flipped the thing around. Oh boy, do I need a better tripod for you. Thank you for dealing with me. So yeah, that was how I spent most of last week, was either in the hospital or worried that I was going to be back in the hospital. Even when I got out, I wasn't feeling too well. That was Friday. I was released. Today's Sunday. So yesterday was my first full day out of the hospital in like a week. Today's my second full day, and I'm feeling pretty good right now, actually. I'm probably feeling the best I've felt in a week, which is fantastic. In-laws are here through, I think, Tuesday, which is, I mean, I can't even tell you how fantastic that is, because it just makes things a whole lot easier for my wife and I. We're actually going to head out and see a movie tonight, which we would not have otherwise been able to do without getting a babysitter. Let me flip the screen back up here. Okay. So yeah, having them come up was just, it's made things a whole lot easier. It's been really, really hard on my wife because, you know, she doesn't know any better than I know what is wrong. And she's just had to pick up slack. We're passing a whole bunch of buggies over there. The Amish drive those around. You're not going to be able to see them. I'm not going to try to get this. I don't know how other bloggers do this. It's really weird. Like, I'd love to be able to, you don't need to see me this whole thing. Without stopping and moving the camera around. I don't know how I can do this. Maybe I just have a bad camera to be doing this with. Maybe I need something different. I did get this camera specifically to be doing this, because the screen flips up and I can see that I'm framed reasonably well rather than just guessing. So this is really like getting out to farm country now. Let's try to do, let me just get you off of here. There we go. So here. You can see it's just like a really simple 2-lane highway. Lots of farms off to the sides. Not sure if there's a cop here, he's gonna pull me over. Hey. And yeah, this is just my happy place. One of my happy places is just making this Lancaster loop. Because it's really good scenery, easy drive. Little farm over here. It's good stuff. So I'll probably try to take you out again. I'll find another stop. But for now, I should concentrate on my driving. So I've reached New Holland, Pennsylvania, which is another one of these cute little towns. What's interesting is I just passed a Radio Shack, which on the sign outside felt the need to put up a sign that actually says, "This Radio Shack is open." Because as you know, most Radio Shacks are no longer open. Museum. Oh, look at that. There's a Historical Society museum here. I never noticed that before. That's kind of cool. Might have to check that out at some point. Little museum. Middle of nowhere. It's like an old-fashioned drugstore here. It's a very interesting little town. There's your theater. The Ritz. It's, you know, I go through, I think, like 2 or 3 of these little towns on the way out to Lancaster. They always seem interesting. It's like a little standing clock there. Probably get out and walk around or something. I don't know, I think I'm probably going to need to turn around at some point because it's getting a little bit late and I don't want to be back too late after my son gets up from his nap. I feel a little guilty about that. So the real question is where I find to turn around. Look at that. Look at the side of the brick on that house. It's like there was another house there that they just tore down, but the brick is still faded there. Kind of cool. Yeah, I think New Holland is one of the larger towns that I go through here. A lot of what I go through is just farmland on this road. But the towns are the best part, I think. They're pretty cool. This should give you more of a sense of the farmland. I just turned off the main road here. And it's just lots and lots of farmland. It's late winter, so the crops aren't in. But you can see it's a lot of open land. So I think some of these farms are Amish owned, Mennonite owned. I don't know if there's a... I'm assuming some of them are not Amish owned and just regular old farms, factory farms, possibly. Oh, and here comes a horse and buggy. I was hoping to get one of these for you. There you go. That's how you tell you're in Amish country. Now, I'm not really hitting anything interesting out here today. It really was just intending to go for a drive. So don't expect anything too exciting with this one. I did want to make sure I got a vlog done, even though I was in the hospital for a few days. I felt like I kind of committed myself to this weekly thing. Oh, check out that like little stump-like thing there. What is going on with that? Interesting. Yeah, I kind of committed myself to this weekly thing and I wanted to keep it up. I don't really have a whole lot to say because, like I said, I was in the hospital, so it's been a boring week for me. But I am feeling better. I am getting back to normal. Hoping at some point soon to take you like on a little trip, a little adventure of some kind. Like there's a buggy just sitting right there parked. But for now, it was just a matter of, all right, let's get some content done. Even though nobody's watching it, at some point somebody's gonna go back on these things and go, hey, how come you missed a week? Well, I haven't missed a week. I'm still here, I'm still going strong. And yeah, I think that's probably about it. I'm gonna call this vlog done. If I happen to pass something else interesting though, I'll pull the camera back out. So at this point, until next time, I am Glenn, and this is the Glenliness. Thank you.